Hey, this is your host, Anthony Tank Mansfield. And with me today is
Jeff Rickels.
and
Justin Tyler.
this is What You Into.
What you into? What you into?
I don't know. I was trying to do a cool PlayStation 2 intro. Anyways,
It is an iconic sound.
it is great. Justin, Jeff, thank you guys both for being back in the basement again. Third time for you, Justin?
Yeah, so I think that makes Dale Earnhardt.
You're in the Dale Earnhardt Club. Woo, welcome.
Yeah.
And then
I'm in Rusty Wallace territory with number 2.
number 2, Jeff, welcome back, dude.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Well, and then the question became right before we hit record, Justin's like, well, what happens if there's a part 2? Then how does that count into our club? This listener, I don't know. We're going in uncharted territory. That's basically a lot of this show tonight. Is guys. We're taking on a behemoth here. We're taking on the biggest selling system of all time. We're taking on a system that had over a 13-year lifespan. We're taking on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I think we foresee this becoming probably several parts.
Yeah.
This might just become its own podcast.
Yeah. Just the PlayStation 2.
The
Just gonna
PlayStation
spin
2
off
review.
into the exactly. It's a PlayStation 2 podcast.
Yeah, this is the future, guys. You didn't know that you were starting a second career tonight, but here we are.
Hey, I'm all for it. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, before we jump in, let's do this. Let's just get plugs out the way. You know, if I'm at NeoToKnow on Instagram, that's where my link tree's at. I'll take you where you need to get to. Jeff Rickels, you can find him over there at Jeff Kuma. Check out his band Newport Secret 6 at Newport Secret 6, the number 6. And then check out Sailor Park Sustains on June 8th. They're going to be doing shows out there. JGH Memorial Fun Show June 14th at Northside Tavern, and Newport Secret 6 album release show August 10th, Northside Tavern. Sons of Silverton confirmed and more to be announced. Dude, you got a big dance card right now, man.
Yeah.
Talk to me about some of these shows.
Yeah, we just had a show last week at the tavern too. Like the Kilograms where we're supporting them. It was actually their first show, and that was something I had played on with the bass fiddleman. That was
Joe
project.
Goodman's bass fiddlesman from Boston.
From Mighty Boston. So that was their
Killer.
first show, and then we had put out Red Emma on May 1st, and then we've got another single coming out I think June 1st, and then we got the album release on August 10th. And real quick, the Sailor Park Sustains is a very cool thing. It's a free kind of festival, like an all day thing in Sailor Park. And there's music all day. They have educational courses, and they're trying to teach sustainability and art stuff. And I did it one time before with Crystal Peterson and the Queen City Band.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'm excited to do it with the Secret 6 and. The other one, the other show at Northside Tavern on June 14th. It's for the Dopamines are playing again for the first time in a very long time. But John Lewis's dad was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, so they're doing a big memorial fun show. So Dopamines are kind of coming out of retirement, and us and Raging Nathans, and it's gonna be a cool show. So
That's an awesome show. I'm got
a lot of cool stuff coming out.
Huge
So,
Dopamines fan, man. They are awesome. I don't think I've ever got to see them live.
Oh yeah.
So all right, good thing to jump in on then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah, and yeah, dude, and again, stoked for this album release show.
Oh yeah. We recorded the album last November, I think. So we've been kind of sitting on it for a little bit, and Jay, our singer and guitar player, he's been working his ass off on it, and we're very excited. We're a 7-piece band. We do ska, rocksteady, reggae stuff. We recorded this album in Jay's not tiny but not big apartment. All 7 of us playing at one time.
Whoa.
We never because we've got horns. We always do them separate. So it's a bit of an experiment.
You didn't break it up and record it.
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, there's a couple things vocals. Vocals he did those separate.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, all the music here was all played at the same time.
Holy shit!
The amount of times when we do we'd be on take 10, and somebody would mess up like the last note of a song, just like because we didn't ever want to be like, I can live with it, even just one dude. Like, but it's hard when there's 7 of us. So but it's cool. Yeah. So in like getting Sons of Silverton so far, like they're supposed to play like legendary hip hop. Dude. Yeah. And I'm super. We've been wanting to play with them for a while. So it's really cool that they said yes to be.
How
on
much
the
have you
show.
guys recorded in the past?
I think this is probably our 5th album. Yeah. Yeah. So on April 20th, that was our 18th anniversary. The first show we ever played was we're having a party, and we just kind of made the band as a joke to like trick our friends and like, surprise them, and the very next show we played was Cincy Punk Fest, and there was only 4 of us. Like I was the drummer playing a djembe. Like we didn't even have a drummer for a year probably. Like it started as a 4-piece, and now we're a big 7-piece, ska rocksteady band.
Was that your first time recording like everybody in like a small apartment kind of space like that?
Doing that, we've recorded in there before, but like broken stuff up and used GarageBand, and like we recorded to tape. Like it was what it was, So
Well, that's fun.
it was cool.
That's
So yeah,
wild,
definitely
man.
excited to finally get it out and have a show, have a party.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Justin, let's talk about you real quick, man. People want to find you on IG at JN Tyler and Cupful Podcast back. You and the wife doing it again.
Yeah, so for those of you who are longtime listeners to Tank's podcast, you can go back and listen to an episode that my wife and I were on about the Renaissance Festival. Her and I, we have a podcast that we had started a few years ago and kind of, couldn't quite get in the groove. Like I think we kind of took too much on and took a break from it. But I've been like begging her about like, hey, let's do this. Like I think that this is like we've got a good thing going. Let's get it going again. So we came back recently. We've got a few episodes that are out already. I think around the time that this episode's releasing, we have an episode coming up about fairy smut. So if you're into that, check it out. Definitely.
Dude, remember like back in 2020 when white women got hit with that wave of indoor plants? That's smut now in 2024. Like every woman I know in her mid 40s is just like, I love reading about sex. I'm like, all right, cool, sweet. So and trust me, I do have a smut episode like written down, or I'm like, I got a few different people I'd like to talk to about this.
Oh,
But
she might be willing to come on for that. So
get
a whole group in.
This tracks.
Just 3 ladies talking your ear off. Like
I need her. I need my friend Hannah, and I would love to get B Sue from Cauldron Tattoo up in Columbus. When I was getting tattooed by her, we started talking about like what you into, and she was like, oh, smut. And I'm like, all right, cool, sick, perfect. And she's like, I like smut and I like John Carpenter's thing. I'm like, oh, this is great.
that's a good combination. I know in the middle of the episode, my wife kind of turns to me and she asks like, what's something that you're into that you're like embarrassed to tell people about or like people would think is weird. And I'm just like, nothing, nothing at all. Like I kind of just played it cool. And I was like, this is on you here. We're talking about smut.
Yeah. Watch out for that. Trying to get you to dry snitch.
I know.
on
Like she
yourself.
was trying to get me in the doghouse.
That's what she was doing. She's like, yeah, throw it out there. I won't be mad. Psych.
I wanted the safe answer.
Well, awesome, man. I'm glad you got it back, and I'm glad you're in the groove and enjoying it.
Yeah,
So
it's fun. I can see why you have so many episodes. It's kind of addictive.
you just start talking.
Yeah.
And speaking of, let's start talking about the PlayStation 2. Guys, holy shit. What can you say about this thing? There is so much to be said. That's why we're having a big ass podcast about it. How old were you when you first interacted with the PlayStation 2? Like, do you guys remember like how old you were when it came out, and where you were in life at that time?
So I was 10 when this console came out.
Solid age for this console.
I got it right after my 11th birthday for Christmas. And I remember I saw it, like I knew of it. I hadn't really like gotten like hands on with it or anything. And then about like the summer before that Christmas, a friend of mine got it, and I went over to his house and we played it. And I experienced, I think he had Midnight Club, and like it was just this street racing game that Rockstar had published, and I was just like, holy shit! Like this kind of just open world racing game with the soundtrack wasn't quite there on that one, but it was just this really cool kind of gaming experience, and I was just blown away. And I just remember for like almost every day after that, like asking my dad like every single day, like, hey, Can you get this for me? Can you get this for me? And then finally, a few months later, my little brother stood on my PlayStation 1 and broke it. So I think that was finally the thing that I was able to like, all right, if you want to buy my love, this is your opportunity. So they were my parents were newly divorced, so it was kind of like put that on them.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I was just like, I was getting consoles left and right. Like every Christmas, it was like, all right, which console am I getting this year? Yeah. That was how he bought my love.
What a trade-off.
Well, whose house do you want to stay at?
Yeah.
I have a PlayStation 2, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I took it with me everywhere I went, but
oh,
yeah.
wow, sure.
Good idea. Jeff, what about you, man? How old were you? Where were you at in life when you experienced the PlayStation 2?
So I was born in 81, so 19, 20, somewhere around there. I didn't have one for a little while. I was trying to remember. I think actually the first one in our house was my little brother. I believe he got one at some point. It was pretty early, but I know my friend Gabe's eye, when he was the first one, it's the first one anyone I knew that had it, and like I think all he had was Gran Turismo 3. But you know, I was already a big fan of the Gran Turismo games. I love racing games, and it was just unreal. But you know, there was also when another game dropped was like the turning point of like, okay, I have to get this system. You know, GTA 3 when that hit, but we'll get there for that.
Oh, weird. Yeah,
yeah.
Listener, get ready. This is going to be a very GTA focused episode because my God, what a legendary trilogy of games for this system. For me, dude, same as you, 1981 baby. I was 20 years old. I was my sophomore year of college, and my dude Brian Wells, who lived across the hall from me, Wells was the first person that I ever saw had a PlayStation 2 in the wild, like outside of electronic boutique or anything like that or GameStop. And I distinctly remember like I'd walk by and I'd see, because like Wells would always have his door open, and the way the dorm was set up, like you would look in and it would be him sitting in like a camping chair in front of the TV. So he's just like bathed in the blue light glow of the PlayStation 2. Always in gym shorts, no shirt on ever, and then he's just rocking Madden 2001 or 2000, whatever it was at the time. Right. And that man, I watched him win so many Super Bowls that year. Like that's just all he played. Every time you walked by the room, he was just in there playing Madden, and it blew everybody's minds. Like my roommate had a Dreamcast, and we were just like, that's not like it. It looks incredible.
That was kind of my thing too. Like I bought a Dreamcast. I was there on $9.99. Like, but I think I talked about that on the last time I was on here. But like, I had the Dreamcast, so it was like there was a part of me that was like, well, but I want to play the Dreamcast. I love the Dreamcast, and then it was very very clear, very quickly. Like, yeah.
See, I was a late adopter to the Dreamcast. Like I don't think I got my Dreamcast until after I had the PS2 for a while, and the Dreamcast was like it was dead.
It was dead.
They weren't making anything. You could get it a dime a dozen. So
Yep.
I think I was kind of a little bit of a late comer to that, but it was nice because I had pretty much the entire catalog of games to play like right from the beginning.
That's true. Yeah.
Whereas I think that probably for those who bought the PlayStation 2 right away, they didn't have a whole lot of options.
Yeah, I was looking at that. The launch titles weren't that impressive, but
which tends to be an issue for PlayStation with most of their consoles for the most part. It usually takes about a year or so before they start really getting some stuff.
Yeah. So let's jump in here at the beginning. Like 95, you get the PS1, and then of like the announcement, like the $299 and all that, and that really set up the PlayStation 1 to go ahead and start to dethrone Sega and Nintendo, and whatever was left, the PS2 just completely eviscerates and finishes off. Because once the PlayStation 2 hits, there's just nothing that's competing with it at the time, and the big part of it is just the DVD player. Like absolutely. that was the game changer, and still clocking in at like, we're going to keep it at $299. Like you got a CD-ROM before a few years ago. Now you get a DVD player. And by the way, the PlayStation launching with a DVD player, listener, take you back in time. A good DVD player would also retail around $200 to $300 at that time. Yeah, so it's like you're getting like a 2-in-1.
The DVD players were actually as expensive, if not more expensive, than the PlayStation 2 at the time. So that was actually another one of the selling points that I'd kind of gotten my dad on, was like, hey, like, this price, like you've been talking about wanting to get a DVD player. We could have one in the house. I'll leave it in the living room. Of course, it went to my bedroom as soon as I got it. But
it's true. Like they have a good streak of that. Like, like you said, PlayStation 1 with just having CD-ROMs, DVDs for PlayStation 2, Blu-rays for PlayStation 3. Like, I mean, yeah. Sony wants to, they I know them and Microsoft, and they all want like one entertainment box that you can just buy, but Yeah, they were always at the forefront of that.
Yes, no, Sony always saw where the puck was going. Like they were not getting hung up in like, hey, we got to keep it cartridge based like Nintendo was, and they weren't also looking to like reinvent the wheel with what Sega would eventually do with the Dreamcast, like shrinking stuff down to like weird sizes for your disc because that way they're not going to get hacked, and then of course they do anyways, and just completely going with like the completely wrong drive for that system that couldn't read DVDs. It just completely screwed things up for them. And you're right. PlayStation's always aired on, we're betting on the CD-ROM, we're betting on the DVD, and we're betting on the Blu-ray, and it's worked.
Well, and then Xbox and PlayStation, there was like, we're doing HD DVD at Microsoft,
Blu-ray.
and they were like, no, we're doing Blu-ray, and I think that's what's gonna win. Yeah,
And I think that's honestly what led to the like. That's why we don't see the HD DVD. Like it was,
yeah.
it was a whole thing. I do know that PlayStation, like Sony, kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit with including the DVD player in there because like so many people, like non-gamers, were buying the system at launch for the DVD player, and they had marked it down to $299 at release, so that they, like they were hoping like, okay, we'll sell the system cheaper, and then we'll get people on the games, but they just didn't have enough available to people. So people were like, it was selling left and right, and you couldn't get your hands on it, but no one was buying the game, so they were actually losing money in the first 6 months or so.
Interesting. Yeah, and that you're exactly right, because again, at the time of the tech and what it was just such a cheap entry level way to get into getting a DVD player, and it did accomplish like what video game systems had, especially Sony had charted that to do for so long. It is the entertainment center of the room. Like you just run everything through this box. It's your video game thing. It's your DVD player. Now it's your streaming platform. Back then you would use it to play your CDs and music, like just all that. They were just constantly evolving the system to be like, no, just hook all your shit into this and it'll take care of everything but cable.
Right. Yeah.
Was it both of your first DVD players as well?
Yep.
No, in our house, whatever Christmas it was, I know I bought my parents a DVD player, like for the family that I used a lot. But like I think I bought Planet Earth and X-Men.
Nice.
The first X-Men movie. It's a Toshiba, some kind of Toshiba DVD player. But yeah, we got the PlayStation not long after that. Maybe we might have even gotten it for Christmas that year.
Okay.
Like I think my brother, a long time ago.
Hank, do you remember?
Definitely my first DVD player.
Do you remember what the first DVD you got for it was?
Shit, probably like The Crow or something like that.
Well, now I feel like a loser. So keep in mind, I was like 10 or 11 years old at this point.
right.
And I got it for a gift for Christmas. So my parents are buying the game for the DVD for me. I got Dr. Dolittle 2 was my first DVD.
Nice. I mean, of the time and of the age.
It was it was. I think I maybe watched it once and never touched it again.
Yeah, it might have been that or Fight Club. I don't know. That would
have been a step up.
That also just brings back to like that cool weird period of like. Once you did have DVD players, like starting to go to like secondhand stores to buy DVDs, like you go to shit like buybacks, and when I lived in Columbus, like there was like local secondhand electronic shops, and they would just have like a wall of like all the used DVDs. You can like pick shit up for like $5 a title, and you could just stack and have a gigantic library collection because of it.
Oh, and then the bootlegging.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you could have a whole episode on just bootlegging alone, though.
If there's electronic, dudes are going to bootleg.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of the situation.
And as Sony found out, like no matter what they do with their system to try to cut down on piracy, like they pretty much just set it up to be even worse.
Yeah. So one of the other reasons why I think this system sold so many is just the amount of release that they had. So normally when I go down through the release list on the show for a system, usually it's Japan, it's America, and it's Europe, and that's kind of it. Not the case with this. Japan gets it first, March 4th, 2000. North America sees the release October 26th, 2000. Europe gets it November 24th, 2000. Australia clocks in November 30th. Australia tends to be like the fourth one if there is one. It is usually that. I've never seen these before. Hong Kong, December 13th, 2001. Taiwan, January 24th, 2002. South Korea, February 22nd, 2002. Fucking Russia, November 7th, 2002, and India, August 13th, 2003. And I think what is so huge about that is the fact that like normally you have like kind of these like three big markets, maybe the fourth being Australia. But with this, like you could literally be in Russia and go to a store and buy a PlayStation 2. Like that's crazy because that's something
Would you say 2 or 3 years later?
Yeah.
I mean, it took that long to be, legit available. They're,
So they've
Besides
they've got
Elvis.
these like big kind of just release kind of splurges in their profits and everything. Like once a year they're releasing in another country, and it kind of just brings all of that in again.
I do think the biggest thing, and again, we'll get to that too, but like, I think it's the sports games. So like that thing, like FIFA and football, like that's a worldwide appeal that, those FIFA games are almost always consistently the
100%.
highest sellers of all systems,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you get in the European market, the Asian market,
I think after a while, it's
yeah.
like Russia's like, all right, we can't deny this. Like,
Yeah.
well, bring it in. Like, well, yeah.
At that point, I mean, it's one of those things where, and it just opens up the availability for the consumer in those markets that they don't have before. Because back then, it's like, okay, it's like 2002. I guess I can try to order a PlayStation 2 off the internet from America, maybe, and
Right.
and it'll get shipped to me, and hopefully this all works out. And yeah, this is now you can just go to like Russian Target and then just grab one off the
right.
shelf. I don't know what Russian Target's called, but
I was trying to think of a,
yeah.
trying to think of a joke. I couldn't.
Oh, I see where you're going with that.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really what does get this in to sell 160 million units worldwide. Lifespan on this thing is ridiculous. This thing lives for over a decade, 2000 to 2013. This is the 13-year-old.
That's wild.
It's like a fucking dog, dude.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Like, holy shit,
Yeah.
13 years for a system? I mean, lifespan now on a system is what, 5 to 7?
Yeah.
Like-
yeah, usually, yeah. Well, I mean, that until the next one comes out, I mean, they'll always support. I mean, they're still
Yeah.
supporting. They're still making PS4 games. PS5 out because there's so many PS4s out there. Like I actually saw a stat today that was like, I think it's less than half of the people on PlayStation Network now are PS5. Like it's still, PS4 is still the dominant thing.
Yeah. Can you guys think of like any peripheral upgrades on this that we hadn't seen before? I mean, I know with like stuff like Guitar Hero and stuff like that, like we got into those kind of peripherals, but as far as like the main controller goes, like, because is this the first time we see joysticks or like on later PS1 there was joysticks?
So this was the DualShock 2. They actually halfway through the life cycle of the PlayStation 1, they released the DualShock analog controllers. And there was, it's funny because like you have like games even in the latter half of PS1 releases that, they were developed for that original, like just directional pad kind of, you didn't really have a whole lot that took advantage of the DualShock controllers.
I wonder too with like the I was thinking of like all the shitty like Mad Catz controllers and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
I feel like PS2 is what proliferated that. Like,
This was definitely the market
I'm
for
sure there
those
was.
third
I'm sure
party.
they were out there for PS1, but like there's so many PlayStations. Like we got to make stuff for this, So
Well, the PlayStation 2 and Xbox era things, I remember that was like I had a Mad Catz wireless controller that I had gotten. Like that was the first time I ever had a wireless controller where I didn't have to be 3 feet in front of my TV.
Right.
Yeah, this was definitely still the time of big cords overall. But yeah, there was starting to be some of those wireless things floating out there.
Because I do know that the Dreamcast had the 56K modem was already built into it. Did the PS2 have that?
So you
when
had
it
to
started?
have it was
You
a
had to have
network
little-
adapter,
right?
They
And that's why-
actually and it didn't release. I don't think right away. It was like a year or so later. They released SOCOM Navy SEALs.
Yeah, that's what did it.
And it was actually packaged
Right.
with that game. They had that and a couple other on like I think EverQuest Online and
Right.
like one of the Final Fantasy games. They had like an online kind of mode too.
Because I was thinking about SOCOM too, because then it had the headset, and that was that was the first game. Well, I did have Seaman for Dreamcast, but like that was one of the first games that I like talked to. You could say commands, and the AI would know like, okay, hold, wait. They're very basic, but yeah, I mean, just having a headset for your PS2 was a kind of a new thing.
Yeah, that was big at the time. I remember I had a few friends that got super into SOCOM, and then
yeah.
you kind of saw where the world was going, where it was like, oh yeah, like there's gonna be things after this, like Call of
Right.
Duty, that are just gonna completely take this. Like this is gonna crawl, so Call of Duty can fucking run, sprint, jump, and parkour.
So you can have the guys that are just like, I play Call of Duty and I play Madden.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it.
That's all I play. I
don't
got
think we
two
were
games.
Which,
quite-
hey,
I don't think we were quite there with internet speeds yet to really support it. I know that I
Yeah.
had one point I had gotten SOCOM with the network adapter, and I lived in a small rural town. Like our internet speeds just didn't support it, so I took that shit right back.
The
So
56K, I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
it was.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's it's not good ground to start off with already, but yeah.
So this thing goes, as we said about the numbers on this, one of the games that really fueled the selling of this system is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and it was selling 17.33 million units. But before we talk about that, let's just talk about Grand Theft Auto as a whole and how important that video game series, that trilogy of GTA 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas are to the success of the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I played. I had played. I think we might have had maybe the London one, but or that might have come out later. But GTA 1 and 2 are very different from GTA 3, obviously. And I liked those games just because they were whatever counterculture and all that kind of stuff, and they were fun to play. Well, kind of.
Yes.
I don't like they're not necessarily that fun to play because a top-down view with a driving, as soon as you start going fast, it's impossible. And it's impossible for everybody, I guess, but
it's also because the camera's not fixed with the cars, so if you're turning left, you're actually just turning upside down, and that shit drove me nuts in those games. I did play a few of the GTA games prior to 3, and it's hard.
It was to me, it reminded me of somebody was take the movement of Dig Dug where you go right or left or up or down, and now add a really fast Matchbox car on top of it. And I'm that sounds terrible. It's well, that's Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2, and it's what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
kind of felt like you're out there with just a little RC car and the controls for that. I've never been good at that. That shit's getting run into everything. So, which I guess, if you're into mowing down pedestrians, which if you're playing Grand Theft Auto, let's face it, that's probably something you're doing as a pastime.
It's part of the joy.
Yeah.
But it is. The first two are just really weird games. It's kind of the same way the first two Fallout games are as compared to what Fallout 3 becomes.
Yeah.
Where they're in the same lore and lineage, but just it's different. And this is when we get Grand Theft Auto 3, which is it's not the first sandbox game, but it's the one that fucking, hey, what if? And they take what if to the infinite degree as far as they could push it with Grand Theft Auto 3 at the time.
Right.
And holy shit, dude. It's so, it's the thing where it's the first time you hear Nirvana, or something like that, where you hear something or see something and you're oh shit, this is Jurassic Park. You're oh, this is special. And you don't know at the time how important this thing is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I know. So that was one of the I had gotten for Christmas the year that I got the PlayStation 2. I had gotten just I think it was a Mobile Suit Gundam game that my parents grabbed for me. That was the only PS2 game that I had. So my mission from that point on, that was around the time that they had released Grand Theft Auto 3, and the commercials were just everywhere at the time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was just every time it would come on, I would just kind of look over to my dad and smolder and sad face, puppy eyes,
Yeah,
please. And he's are you allowed to play this game?
You got a more love?
Probably not.
You got a little more love you need to buy?
You're Dad.
I think I'm loving Mom a little bit more today.
Exactly.
Yeah. The fucking towers fell last month, so I'm going through some shit. Do you really think this is what's gonna fuck me up?
Yeah, I'm already fucked.
Yeah, trust me. The next 2 decades plus of American imperialism and starting wars. Maybe we should. This is a drop in the bucket, Dad.
If I got through your divorce and 9/11, I'm good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, this is good. This is why I need the game.
Video gaming. Yeah. Shit.
So, but yeah, so you finally get GTA 3 though, and just holy shit, even right from the start, you kind of have these just kind of sweeping shots of the city as the intro plays and everything, and it leads you into this this whole scene where you're being transported from one prison to another or to jail, and your car gets kind of blown up and you get released, and it's you're just oh shit, I'm right in it right from the beginning. There's no hand holding or it's just fuck it, you're explosions and gunshots right from the start.
It's their version of the wagon in Skyrim.
Yeah. Oh, I see you're awake. Yeah. Welcome to Liberty City. Yeah.
No wonder mods became so popular. It kind of just I need a mod just to skip that shit.
Yeah.
It is interesting. GTA 3 does put you in the role of the antagonist. You're a fucking you're a fucking bad guy. You're a really bad guy in this game.
Yeah. Who never ever ever says a word
nope.
the whole time.
Or Claude, was that his name? Claude,
yeah. But then that was another thing too another thing that wasn't the first, but just the storytelling and actors and I think Steve Buscemi's one of the first people he was a character them telling this mafioso story and it's just just instantly like, all right, I'm in, and taking it into that 3D perspective, like going third person with it, like
Yeah.
just such a change from the top down that we mentioned, like it was it was something to behold at the time for sure.
And even, I mean, the content of it. So, like, me as an 11-year-old, this is probably a little bit different than it was for you guys, but I'd never seen, like, I'd never seen Goodfellas. I'd never seen The Godfather at this
Right.
point in my life. Like, I'd never seen, like, all of these, like, I'd seen some Sopranos. Like, that was still, like, kind of big at the time, and I was, like, that was my only, like, frame of reference to kind of connect this to, and, like, holy
Yeah.
shit, like, that just opened me up to this whole thing of,
Right.
like, Dad, didn't you say that I'm part Italian?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
This is my culture now.
Yeah.
This is what I identify as. I identify as Grand Theft Auto 3.
Exactly. Let's go find some hookers.
There was so many like you talking about like the Italian, the characters and stuff. I was picturing the spot on the map where like one of the things I would do the most in that game was like upward near where like pointing up near where their hideout was. Down a hill a little bit somewhere, there was a car dealership, and I always had that Banshee, the
Yeah.
Dodge Viper looking car.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. So
I mean, that's basically, I'd blow up and then just immediately run right back to that place. Like, well, I know there's one place where there's a fast car.
there was
somewhere,
also the 8 Ball. His shop
Yeah.
was right next to
Yeah.
that, and you could
Yeah,
like, drive
yeah.
any vehicle into it. They would hook you up with
Oh,
explosives.
yeah.
And,
that car's brown. I'm not looking for that car. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, the spray shops.
oh,
Yeah.
to avoid the police, just
Yes.
get a paint job. They're
Get a
not looking
paint
at your
job.
face. Like just get turn that brown car green, and you're golden.
Good to go. I mean, I think that is the beauty of the game is Grand Theft Auto 3 gives you the ability to fuck off. And
Yeah.
like there's no like you don't have to have a mission, there's no level, there's not really any responsibility. You can just walk around the city and just cause havoc and fuck with people
Yeah.
and pile up cars and ramp shit off of bridges and shoot anybody you want in the head. It's your playground, it's your sandbox.
Or you can do the exact opposite. You can obey the traffic laws and just
Yeah,
go
right.
from red light to
Oh,
red
yeah.
light for about 20 minutes until you say fuck this, and then run over an entire line of people in Chinatown.
Well, plus, it's the thing too, where like, yeah, you can just do whatever you want, but then like all those bridges are still down. Like you do have to progress the story a little bit to go to the other cities. Like, which I can't. Can you think of the names of the other cities?
I can't.
only think of
mean,
Liberty
you have
City,
like
but-
something that represents Manhattan, and then you have kind of the
Buffalo-
Jersey side. I can't remember what they called it in the fictional Liberty City. Though.
Yeah.
Well, no,
should've-
I don't remember. But yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you did have to you did have to open areas, but I think that is the replayability of it is like you could advance the story, you could go back to the main
Yeah.
quest, but at the same time, man, you can just you want to have your own demo derby in the middle of Manhattan, go for
Oh
it.
yeah. Or you want to try and cross that bridge? Like, there's a line of police cars that they'll sit there and shoot at you as soon as you pass them. And
Well, that's where you like. Did you ever
that first
like,
bridge, that you met,
You get the tank cheat.
Yes.
The
Oh,
tank
yeah.
cheat. Oh, you
Tank
got your own cheat code.
you get turn that turd around backwards,
and then you hit the flying
yeah.
cars cheat in combination with that, and you're just like, poof.
Just incredible. Yeah.
And then as soon as you land on the other side, it's like all like 5-star police
Yeah.
wanted level, and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
I do like my dad was always into he liked playing video games and stuff, and I remember playing one time and showing him that, like turning and my dad's just watching like, that's not how that works. Like, yeah, I know, it's a flying tank. Like, chill out.
I don't think anything in this game is how it really
Yeah.
works. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Maybe you can just fucking go to the corner of any street in New York and just kind of honk your horn, and a hooker comes up and
Yeah,
gets in
right.
the car, and then you take her to the nearest bush around the corner,
Right.
and the car just starts.
Yeah.
That is the other, the game where like you have quote unquote sex, which is really just your car bobbing up and down. Yeah, and then all of a sudden it stops, and then she gets out, and then you can make the ethical decision: do I murder this woman and take my money back?
She is a working lady. You let her
Exactly.
have her money, and then you go run down some other pedestrians
that's
that
her-
didn't just
exactly.
provide you a service, and you steal their money.
Also, it being in 3D and like there was very little, because I don't think you could change the camera while you couldn't. You could look for first person if you stopped and then just like looked around.
Yeah.
Or if you were driving, you could have a first person point of view.
And there were certain guns too.
Yeah, I was gonna
think,
say
like
the
sniper
the
rifle
first
and
time
the
I was
rocket
playing and I
launcher.
like hit L1 or whatever it is, and like he puts his hand up with an Uzi to the side. It's like yeah, like just seeing that. Yeah. Or like you put it in the cinematic mode. I think you hit circle or whatever, like, and you can hit click the stick in and put it in slow motion, like as you're
just
running
hitting
people down
ramps and stuff. And
Oh,
like, you
yeah.
just see shit flying
Oh
everywhere.
yeah, all
and-
the ramps and
it's
we got to
such
talk about the music too. The music in that game is fantastic.
not even just the music, the simulated radio shows.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
All
I mean, they had
parody.
a whole talk channel, of just skits and stuff that they did. It was fantastic.
And this just builds as the series
Yeah.
goes on. This just builds and builds.
100%. Yeah, I think that the radio stations are a big part of the game in terms of the humor. That is one of the reasons why you can come back, because like it's smart, and
Right.
the stuff that they do, like the fucking like right wing radio stations where they have like the Rush Limbaugh guy that's like
Right.
yelling
Yeah,
about
yeah,
like
yeah.
like how you gotta free America and
Yeah.
Eagles. Patriots, bombs, all that shit. And it's like, well, it's what was satire then is kind of actually AM radio today.
Yeah,
but I
right.
digress. But yeah, it's hilarious. But that's going on, and then also getting stuff like Ozzy Osbourne and getting stuff like, you would get that. You would get Michael Jackson, Iron Maiden, Hall & Oates, Blondie, like especially on that Vice City soundtrack. Like
shit.
they were like, it's the '80s. We're giving you so much killer shit from the '80s.
Like, that's the thing. I remember with Grand Theft Auto 3, like, there was a lot of good music in there, but there was never anything like big licensable music that really stood out to me in Grand Theft Auto 3. A lot of it was just kind of like EDM and dance. Like,
And I think
stuff.
a lot of the songs on the whichever one the like the pop radio one, like a lot more licensed music, but a lot were like either like the indie bands or like smaller bands that Rockstar knew or people at Rockstar. Like I think that they made a lot of songs too, and a lot of the skits and stuff too. Like I said,
But then you get into Vice City, and the entire soundtrack is just pop music
Oh,
from the
yeah.
80s. Like,
Yeah.
they really went above and beyond to transport you into that time. And for somebody who only lived a month of the 80s, like, that was
Right.
my first kind of, like, real,
Yeah.
like, foray, like, into that culture and just
Yeah.
the bright colors and pop music and...
It was so much different of a look from what we saw in GTA 3. And then also, whereas GTA 3 was looking at things like Goodfellas for their inspiration, now turning to Scarface for this.
Yes.
And you really do have that, like, it feels like Scarface. There's just so much shit in that game where it's like, oh, they obviously stole this from the movie.
And I'd smartened up a little bit before the release of Vice City, whereas like I went into Grand Theft Auto 3 never having really seen a lot of those gangster movies and all of that. By the time Vice City came around the next year, like I was just like, oh shit, okay, I've seen Scarface. Like I get that reference. So
yeah. The next year, like I think it came out almost to the day, like if not the day.
Yeah.
1 year later, they put out Vice City, which is insane.
That's bananas.
Like, 'cause-
yeah, originally I think it was actually supposed to be like kind of just an expansion of 3, and I think
Yeah.
that they,
Yeah.
they ended up
Yeah.
kind of like, you know what? No, like we've put like there's all these things here. Let's put
Yeah.
it in a completely new setting.
Right.
And
Right.
I like it's just amazing that like we're at a point now where it takes 11 years for Rockstar to put anything out.
Yeah.
And we went through this period in the early PlayStation 2 where it was just like they had like 2000, especially 2001 through 2003. Rockstar had so many games that they put out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially those 3 games in that trilogy alone. Like,
Yeah.
all 3 of
Back to
those
back.
are are a lot of people's favorite games ever. Like, yeah.
Well, I think what they're doing is exactly what you're saying by putting them in that short span. They're like, okay, look, we got this solid base. Like this base is great. How can we make it better? So when you're dealing with something that like the first game is like, say like a 9, it's like, well, it's not too hard to, hey, let's get bigger voice actors. Let's get better song licensing. Let's give you more freedom to do shit.
Right.
And let's, more vehicles and all this stuff. And they
Yeah.
just made it better. And then we finally, when we see with San Andreas, where it's like, now we're going to transport you
We've
to
perfected
like,
this.
yeah, we've perfected it. And now we're going to tell the story of like Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society and like all the movies that you saw from the 90s.
Yeah, so
And we're gonna walk right up to the line of making you do too much stuff or like stuff to worry about that you didn't really necessarily have to work out with Carl CJ every day or like But if you wanted to go to Cluck and Bell, eat 57 cheeseburgers on a
need
run,
a
like
number
get them big and
9.
fat, and like it was,
2 number 9s and
go
a
for
large.
it, Yeah.
That game is so good in terms of like the ability to do that, to like you can change your body, you can
Yeah.
get tattoos, you can get different hairstyles,
Yeah.
you can get different clothes, like just all this stuff where you could just customize out your character to make him whatever you wanted to be. And then again, the idea of like the fuck off factor of that game, all that shit right there might take me like an hour or so, just because I'm gonna run over here and do this, I'm gonna run over here and do this, and I'm not even doing anything illegal or anything, any violence of any sort. I'm just literally running errands in this fucking fucking game.
I would
Yeah.
say probably 75% of my time in San Andreas was either spent looking for Bigfoot or just
yeah.
kind of like ramping mountains out in the
Yes.
Oh, and that was the big one that like so like they'd introduced in the first game you had flying codes and
Yes.
you had the dodo plane
Which
that you could fly.
You could, but man, it was a pain
It
in
was
the
I mean
ass.
this
And
little tiny
it was-
plane that barely
it
had
was not
wings.
made.
It was yeah. And then the second one they introduced helicopters, so you did have like and they had like the little RC plane that you could fly too. So like they did introduce a little bit more flying element
And
in
they
Vice
had
City.
boats in the second one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You
Because-
couldn't even get in the water in the first game at all.
But they had the cigarette
yeah.
boats because it's Miami.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But then by the time San Andreas comes around, like you're able to swim, you're able to fly like full on planes,
Skydive.
like not just these little tiny like private planes.
Yeah.
Like you can take a full jetliner, or like you have like military grade like fighter like planes.
Yeah, like a B-2 bomber where like that has like a door on it where you can like, oh, I've been sitting in this the whole time with like in a tank or something and just drive out of it and,
with a parachute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again what an amazing series. I don't know where the world would be without GTA at this point. Like it just opened the door for so many things. It was so imaginative. It was just and they're still making good stuff. I'm so stoked for number 6 to come out. Like
Going back to Vice City.
going
Yes.
back to Vice City, going back to digital Florida.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
And there's like just also like the pure like at the time the scale of San Andreas,
Yeah.
how
God.
large it was.
Yeah.
Not only did they have this entire like not just a city, you had a full state that you were exploring. They also had a playable level where you could go back to Liberty City.
Yeah.
They had the first island in Liberty City loaded in like where you went there for a level, just a level, then you never went back again.
like we're gonna give you LA and the mountains and the woods and stuff, and then San Francisco and Las Vegas. Like,
It's so cool, and I think that's one of the great part about those games is the ever expanding maps and just being able to do your stuff that you want to do in different terrain. And then you could run into stuff where like when you were out in the woods, you get like ATVs and shit, you know, or
the bicycles too.
yeah, those were great.
Were you just
Tap X.
Were you just muscle memorying? Were you just
Yeah,
muscle
I was
cheat
muscle
code?
memorying. I was muscle
I can
memorying.
still do some-
weapon
yeah.
sheet 1, R1, R2, L1, R2, left down, right up, left down, right up. Yeah,
I was gonna say there were so many that you had to like circle on the pad.
it's just muscle memory, like just
Oh,
from
yeah.
years of playing this. Like I've got this shit down. It's almost like up down, up down.
Yeah.
like it's the
Yeah.
Konami code, or like not or no Contra code. Yeah, like you kind of just have it like ingrained in you.
This game also has one of the biggest son of a bitch parts in it ever with the train robbery.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Where you're like on a motorcycle and you're having to like keep up. Yeah. Yeah.
What was that character's name?
Big Smoke.
Big
Big
Smoke.
Smoke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was oh fuck him.
Yeah, and the other, I don't remember, Big Smoke's the only one I can name, and then the other dude that like looks just like Easy E.
Yes.
And your gang, yeah.
Yeah, they must have gotten permission to use the likeliness of some of these characters, but
I think so. Yeah.
I was gonna say that mission for sure, like having to like land on the train or whatever you had to do. But you mean those RC planes, like the guy? I remember his name, Zero was the name of the guy. It was David Cross that voiced him.
Oh, yeah.
Those missions were infuriating because they were so hard to control. And like,
Yeah.
oh my god, you had to do them just perfectly, or fail it, do it again. Oh.
yeah, and it's not like the physics for those little RC vehicles were different from
Yes.
the real vehicles
Yeah.
because like they are so much.
I feel like it was like they
Lighter.
were way more like sensitive to up
like
and
I
down.
remember
Yeah.
in I think it was Vice City. You had a remote control helicopter that there was like a construction building, like a building that was being constructed. You had to fly. There was like 4 stories
Yeah.
tall, and you had to
Yeah.
fly around and like drop these bombs off on every floor. And like you would just have these
yeah.
like these construction workers like running around and trying to swat you with like baseball
Yeah,
bats
yeah.
and. Oh fuck that mission.
Rockstar is kind of like, I mean, I even think of like Red Dead 2, where like there are times in the game where like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but like when you're on a mission, like you kind of got to follow the path. Like,
Yeah.
Just
you
a
can-
little.
Some places you can vary it up a little bit, but yeah. A lot of
No.
times if you try to do it like, and they've always kind of been that way, like, no, we want it, we have a story to tell. We want you to see those construction workers swatting at you and doing all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the yin and the yang of freedom in that game. When when you're not on a mission, do what you want. When you're on the mission, you're on the mission.
Yeah.
Well, look, guys, before we eject that of Grand Theft Auto Land, is there anything else you guys wanted to hit? I saw somebody put something in the notes about recording.
Oh yeah,
Keja?
So Keja was the reggae station on GTA 3, and basically what I did was like I got in a car, the most quiet car I could find, and just like parked in a parking lot somewhere in the game, and then I'd hooked my TV up by AV cables to my stereo and like recorded it to cassette tape, so I could just have that on cassette tape, and just like let it loop. And yeah, it's because that is basically that Scientist album that I mentioned. The except when you listen to that album, it feels very nostalgic. It feels like you're playing GTA 3, but then you don't have the DJ, that's on there, who is fantastic too. But yeah, the music always seems like it's always thought about and like considered, and
100%.
very appropriate soundtrack a lot of times, or stations that you can listen to, and yeah, that
100% agree.
I did have one more thing I wanted to bring up about the series. So I think one of the reasons that too, like I think that they were so successful releasing year after year is because they were able to ride the controversy. Like these games caused so much controversy, and it just made them more and more sought after and popular.
Right. I mean,
to the point where like you get to San Andreas.
Yeah.
Are you both familiar
Hot
with
coffee?
the hot
Oh, yeah.
coffee? Yes, hot coffee.
Yeah.
So hot coffee was a line of code that was like this is what it was dubbed, but there was a line of code in the game that was like a playable mini game that was taken out to kind of get it into a what is it, like a rated M rating?
To not be an AO game.
But when this game came out on PC like a year later or so, like obviously like people like they get into the code and like start like
you can't hide things in
can't
games
hide
anymore.
things, yeah,
Like
no.
I mean, you haven't been with it for a long time. But
So we talked earlier about like picking up hookers and like being in the car with them, and the car just kind of like shakes or whatever. There was a full sex simulation that you could do in San Andreas with your girlfriend, because you were able to have girlfriends in this game. And
oh yeah,
people were so like, and it's not like it was something that was playable in the game. Like but
Right.
people were so like, they're like, oh, like why would you sell my child? This, like first
Right,
off, it's
right.
rated M. Like why did you buy this for your
yeah,
child?
right. I mean, and they're never gonna find it, but there is a small part of me that is like, why was that in? Why did you leave that in there? Because or did you leave that in there so for someone could find it?
I
You
almost
know?
think that was the case.
Yes,
I'm
100%.
sure. Yeah,
Because
right.
it's like I said, like they've just ridden this controversy from one game to the other, and just like after San Andreas, like you kind of have like a couple other Rockstar games that get some controversy too. And I'm sure we're probably going to talk about
Yeah,
here in a minute, but
for sure.
they just like it skyrocketed this studio to the point where they didn't have to release 7 games a year. They can just release one game every 7 years.
Yeah, they were always good about hiding stuff too. Like, because I'm pretty sure it's GTA 3. Like, there's a spot that you could get to where like it's like kind of a hidden area, and you get there and it's like, I think it says on the wall, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to see this or something like that. Like, so they're that's kind of always been one.
They
of the
know
things.
people are gonna get
They
there,
hide
though.
stuff in the games because they know it'll be found.
I also think it's that it says something about American society, the way we view these games, where people that weren't gamers, like they were offended by the violence, but once they saw the sex, I mean, then it was just even more of a
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And I'm not sure what that says about us, where like, it's not like people having sex is more offensive than me going on like a mass shooting spree.
Right.
Like in the people, it's weird. And I think a lot of that has to do with like, especially with video games, where people just that are non-gamers equate video games with like Mario and children's stuff. And it's, it's the things I was playing when I was 8 or 9. And it's like, no, it's a whole like entertainment genre of its own. And people play different genres within this thing, that have different levels. So like if it says M, like they're not bullshitting you. Like it is legit not made for children.
Yeah. And it's really not. I was the other day to kind of just get myself ready for this podcast. I was actually I kind of had like a day where I hung out with my little sister, who she's 5 years younger than me even. So I would have been playing this with her when we were little, and like she played it just as much as I did. And I walked out of the room for like a minute while she was playing the other day, and I come back and she had put in like a combination of cheat codes that led to not only is CJ getting followed by every pedestrian, but all the pedestrians have also been turned into prostitutes and pimps, and everyone is carrying around a double-sided dildo, and they're all attacking you with it. So everywhere you walk, you're just getting hit by hose with dildos. Like, and I'm like, what did you do? What codes did you put in? Undo it.
Those codes too, like the angry citizens or whatever they call that, like those were the ones that like you couldn't turn it, like once you turned it on, like you were stuck with it unless you turned the game off. You know? Like,
Hope you
like,
didn't say.
you want to put a code in? Like, okay, well you're screwed now.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah.
Again, which is another thing talking about like the freedom that they give you with these games. Not only do you have the freedom to do what you want in these games, but then on top of that, it's like, hey, how do you want to break this thing and like play with the physics of it and just dick with shit? And it's like we can take it to the next level.
I've always loved developers that kind of just give you the tools to fuck the game up and really lean into like, what can I do to make this my own experience that nobody else is going to have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, guys, we're just about an hour, so let's do this real quick. This listener is going to be a multi-part series. So let's just hit our IGs real quick. So, Jeff, where can people find you at?
Yeah, you can find me at Jeff Kuma, JEFFKUMA, and then Newport Secret 6 at Newport Secret 6 KY.
Justin, where can people find you at?
You can find me at JN Tyler, and also check out the Cupful podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you find Tank's podcast, pretty much.
Wherever podcasts exist.
Wherever you're listening to this right now, go look for Cupful.
There's also no KY at the end of Newport Secret 6 Instagram. I don't know why I said that. It's just Newport Secret, the number 6. I'm an idiot.
Hell yeah. Listener, find me at Neil to No One on IG. Everything goes from there. Thanks for listening to What You Into. If you got a friend that's into video games or specifically the PlayStation 2, please share the episode with them. There's going to be a lot of these because, again, 13-year lifespan on the biggest selling system of all time. We have a lot to talk about. So join us next episode. We're going to be jumping back in, starting with Rockstar Talk, and we're going to go from there. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. And listener, peace.